WFYI podcast brought to you by Bloomington, Indiana, an American college town offering food and drink, college sports, outdoor activities, live music, cool art, and good times daily. Everyone is welcome in Bloomington. More information at visitbloomington.com.
We're going to take a trip right now. Like we always do about this time.
This is a journey into sound.
Break it down.
I'm Kyle Long, and you're listening to Cultural Manifesto. I'll speak with Tarriona Ball, better known as Tank, lead vocalist for Tank and The Bangas. They'll be performing with Trombone Shorty at the Brown County Music Center on March 14th. Tank is a native of New Orleans, but she spent time living in Indianapolis during the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. We'll discuss her time in Indianapolis and how Tank's love of poetry inspired the band's Grammy-winning album, The Heart, The Mind, The Soul.
That was just the best year of my life, but I needed it. Without Indianapolis, I wouldn't be the artist I am.
Tarriona Tank Ball will join me in a moment. But first, let's hear a track from Tank and The Bangas' latest album, The Heart, The Mind, The Soul. This is Open to Thyself.
I believe in you. Just want you to know I believe in you. I love you through all of your phases. I've watched you through all of your stages of growth. I've seen you spill. I love you still. Open to myself. Sometimes I wonder how much fight I got in me. Then I remember, man, I'm a queen in the Serengeti.
That was Tank and The Bangas with Open to Thyself. They'll be performing at the Brown County Music Center on March 14th. Tank and The Bangas are a familiar name to many NPR listeners. The New Orleans band were winners of the 2017 NPR Tiny Desk contest. And in 2019, Tank and The Bangas visited WFYI to record a live set for small studio sessions. After the performance, I spoke with Tank, along with band members Josh Johnson and Norman Spence. We'll listen to my recent conversation with Tank in a moment, but first, I want to share an excerpt from our 2019 interview as we discuss her time in Indianapolis. Tank and her family lived in Indianapolis during the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina.
Well, people would think that, oh, you must have just started driving and never stopped. You know, like who comes from New Orleans to Indianapolis? Actually, my family did. My Aunt Gloria came out here and my cousin Alexia, and they told us, you know, while we were going through, you know, basically escaping the storm, come up here. You know, we have housing for you and people that will treat you real kind. And we drove all the way up here with our grandparents and our family, and that's exactly what we got. We lived in a space where, you know, they had a fully furnished apartment for all of us. And then there was this room that you go to at night where they're just full of clothes that people from Indianapolis just donated to us. And me and my sister would go there every night and just surf through all the clothes looking for clothes to wear because we obviously didn't have any. And I just met beautiful people. It reminded me, I was like, I need friends. I don't have any. So I need to put my personality right here because I need friends. And that's how I met so many people. They were at the show like last night. So just as much as they had an impact on me, I must have had something on them because, man, that was just the best year of my life because I was able to meet so many people. You know, I mean, who wants to be separated from their home their senior year? But I needed it because without Indianapolis, I wouldn't be the artist I am. Because although New Orleans will open you up to all these things, in the public schools, you still feel like you want to blend in as much as you can just so someone won't pick on you. I didn't feel that here. I felt cool to be myself.
You graduated from Pike High School, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Core 40, yeah. We had a big old class. You don't know nothing. Shut up.
Were you making music during your time in Indianapolis, or were you just...
I was more poems.
Poems?
Because I was going through so much inside. I wrote a lot because, I was so sad. I used to cry so much. Shut up, you don't know anything.
She still cries, y'all.
That's
She
sad.
still
I didn't know your
cries.
grandparents went up there with y'all.
Thank God, man. Come on, I can't go nowhere without my mom and papa. My grandmother died here, too. And my grandfather.
Where'd
It's
you
crazy.
stay at, if you don't mind me asking? What part of town?
Oh, my God.
Your
What did
apartment buildings.
I know I stayed. The crazy part is I can't even much think about it that much. I think it was Circle something. Because it was so long ago. Circle Center, Cypress, something. But I know I was close to Pike High School. That's crazy.
It wasn't Covered Bridge Apartments,
It was Covered Bridge.
Yeah.
How you know?
Yeah.
What the hell going on with you?
You live there right now.
How
That's
you
right.
know that?
I'm in your old room.
I'm like, what?
No, that's where a lot of people were
Cover
placed
Bridge.
when they came up
I
here
know it
from
started
New
with a
Orleans.
C.
Yeah.
I know it started with a.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cover Bridge.
Because they covered you.
They
They was a bridge over
right
troubled
now,
waters.
that was a blessed word you just did. They covered my entire family.
And right now, this idea of the fate of displaced people is a huge political football, right? We hear about people who've been displaced by economics, war, environmental disaster, being turned into villains and blocked and banned and building walls, etc. What did going through that experience of being displaced from your home, how did that kind of shape you, and how do you view these issues now, having experienced that to some degree in your own life?
Just that, when people are escaping from home, they called us refugees a lot, and we weren't. We were literally, people that was running to safety, but we were, obviously Americans, and they try to separate that. But what's always first is that people should remember before American, before refugee, before evacuee is human, person first. And that way you can take care of everyone and love them and treat them with the same care that you would, someone that is supposedly American. You treat them human first. And that way we all can come together and take care of each other like we're supposed to when we are displaced.
Let's hear another track from Tank and The Bangas' latest album, The Heart, the Mind, the Soul. This is Hoo Ha.
You are the star on the roster. You know you're the author of your book, right? Whatever your mind writes is what your life looks like. How's your pen game? What's your end game, your goal? What's got a hold on you? How does your inner child affect the older you? It's true. You might not be able to get your hours back, but you can take your power back.
Give me grace. A star like me has never felt so out of place. When you grab me, twist it.
That was Tank and The Bangas with Hoo Ha. They'll be performing at the Brown County Music Center on March 14th. I recently spoke with the band's vocalist, Tarriona Tank Ball. Let's join our conversation. Tank, you'll be performing here in Indiana on March 14th at the Brown County Music Center. Thank you for taking time to speak with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, the Grammy Awards just happened a few weeks ago, and you won your first Grammy. Congratulations.
I love the way that sounds. Thanks.
How did that feel?
Oh, surreal, like a manifestation, like magic, like destiny. It always is an incredible night.
Your album, The Heart, the Mind, the Soul, won a Grammy in the Best Spoken Word Poetry category. The album sounds amazing. There are beautiful arrangements and voices featured throughout the project, but at the core of the record is your poetry, and I understand it was your love of poetry that inspired the concept of the album. I know poetry is important to you. You published your debut book of poetry a few years ago, Vulnerable AF. Can you share with us how your love of poetry inspired the creation of The Heart, the Mind, the Soul?
I think I just was riding, on a train one day. I don't even know where I was, but I was, I just had the concept just coming about, just thinking about the different relationship I had with my heart, my mind, and my soul, and even my body, because it was even going to be a longer title than it was. And just right after I went to the Grammys last year, and I just saw the category of spoken word, I was like, That's my category. And that's when I begin to really craft the heart, the mind, the soul, the concept, the trilogy around poetry. It definitely is it's a passion project, as my label will probably call it.
That sounds almost like it's trivializing it. I mean, this album was a big deal, right? It's been huge for you.
Yes, yes, definitely. And if they call it a passion project, then I say follow your passion.
Yeah, that's right. Continuing on this theme of poetry, I'm curious if there were particular poets that inspired your interest in poetry as a young person. Do you still have poetry heroes today that fuel your passion for writing?
Oh, yes, definitely. But my poets weren't, just the like the mainstream ones. It was the ones that the teenagers that were writing with me right at the coffee shop in New Orleans. It was the people that I heard on albums that had made a album before I met them, and I knew all of them because I just listened to their work so much. When my teacher, Miss Loftus, gave me an album with a bunch of young, gifted teenagers doing poetry on it. And those people became my friends once I met them at one of my first poetry slams I went to. So yeah, it started pretty early on, being inspired by other youth like myself and really cool teams from New York and Philadelphia. Yeah, those were always really cool poets. And locally it's Sonny Patterson and everybody from Def Poetry Jam. I used to love Def Poetry Jam.
I love that. It was your peers, it was your contemporaries that were really inspiring you to.
Definitely.
Tank, I don't know if you remember this, but I spoke with you back in 2019 when Tank and the Bangas recorded a live performance here at WFYI. At that time, we talked about your connection to Indianapolis. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, your family lived here in Indianapolis. You were a senior in high school at the time, I believe, and you graduated from Pike High School. When we spoke then, you told me that the time you spent in Indianapolis was the worst and best year of your life. And you mentioned that you immersed yourself in writing poetry at that time. Do you remember what you were writing about when you were living here in Indianapolis? And do you still have any of those poetry books today?
I wonder if I would have to go through my things to see if it's still around. But yeah, I remember writing a lot about my best friend because we both were so close to each other, and the distance, it really was having a toll on me. And I think that I was just really sad being away from New Orleans, being away from home. But Indianapolis just gave me things that I know that I would have never gotten at home. I needed to be there, and I needed to make the friends that I made. I needed to be away from home so that I could find the true home, which is inside. And that's what Indianapolis gave me.
There's a deep poetry scene here in Indianapolis, and there's a deep tradition of poetry here. Writers like Mari Evans and Etheridge Knight, who are part of the Black Arts movement. During your time here, did you get to experience any of the poetry happening in the city? Or were you just, you were in school. I know you were probably busy doing your
I'm
homework.
about to say I did not. The moment you said they had a dope poetry scene, I went, what? No, I did not experience that, just being in school and being at home a lot. And yeah, I didn't feel like, and I was just really trying to graduate. The only extracurriculars that I was in was choir. So no, I didn't know that they had a powerful poetry scene like that. Because when I was there, no, I don't know that.
Yeah, if you have a chance, check out a poet named Mari Evans. She spelled her name Mari. She's best known for a 1970 volume titled I Am a Black Woman. But in 1984, she edited this book called Black Women Writers that has like legendary poets like Sonia Sanchez, and I could keep naming poets, but it's an incredible collection that she edited.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. And Tank, I'm curious if coming back to Indiana means anything to you. Or do you still have family here? Are there things you look forward to? Or are there things you hate about Indiana that you don't even want to deal with when you come here?
Oh, there's nothing I hate about Indianapolis. I'm looking forward to coming there because I still have family there. It's the last place I saw my grandparents. And I hope to always see friends that I went to high school with, and they always come out and show support. My aunt comes out, so I always look forward to coming to Indianapolis.
While you were here, was there a spot that you really loved to go to, a restaurant, or any memories you have of a place you really loved to check out when you were here?
I don't remember what the mall was called, but I liked the mall.
Okay.
Because they had like this really cool eyebrow threading place there, and I didn't know nothing about eyebrow threading, and I liked that. And up the street from my house was was it Culver City? Is that what they have the milkshakes and ice?
Culver's, yeah.
Yeah, well, we don't have that in New Orleans, so I really like that spot.
And finally, Tank, you'll be performing at the Brown County Music Center in Nashville, Indiana on March 14th. Trombone Shorty is also on the bill. I've seen your band a few times now. It's an incredible live show you have. Anything you want to share with our listeners about the show? Have you ever been in this part of Indiana, southern Indiana?
I may have, but but I wouldn't even be 100% sure because I'm always on and off a stage. Stages just look like stages. I really just remember the people that are there instead of the areas that I'm in. But I know that this is going to be an amazing show because I'm a huge fan of Trombone Shorty. This is his bill. I am sharing the bill with him. I am opening for him because he is amazing. He is a Prince of New Orleans. He's an amazing person. His shows are always packed and sold out, and he's worked underneath, the greats. And to see his show up live front it's spectacular. This is going to be my I believe maybe my second or third time, probably my second time really going on tour with Trombone Shorty. And the first time it was amazing. And I'm really looking forward to him. He's the only person that I feel like, open for him and let him close out the show. Because he's that fabulous. And I'm excited to do, some songs from our new Grammy winning project and some old ones that our fans have grown to really love.
Tank, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to talk with me. I know you're incredibly busy. I appreciate you and your music so much and look forward to seeing you in Indiana.
I thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
You can see Tank and The Bangas live with Trombone Shorty on March 14th at the Brown County Music Center. Let's listen to one more track from the band's Grammy-winning album, The Heart, the Mind, the Soul. We'll hear Is It Me You're Calling?
Don't want the fantasy no more. Won't you knock upon the door? That's the thing you've been waiting. That's the thing you've been waiting for. Is it me you're calling? 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 Hate to kill the vibe, well, let's go outside. Hate to kill the vibe, well, let's go outside. Memory falls, picture ignores. I can't get you out of my mind.
And that's all the time we have for this week. Thank you to my guest, Tarriona Tank Ball. Check out the Cultural Manifesto podcast at WFYI.org or wherever you listen to podcasts. Cultural Manifesto is hosted and produced by me, Kyle Long. Thank you for listening.
WFYI podcast brought to you by Bloomington, Indiana, an American college town offering food and drink, college sports, outdoor activities, live music, cool art, and good times daily. Everyone is welcome in Bloomington. More information at visitbloomington.com.